I'm going to review a couple ways you can massage the bottom of your feet that will help improve the strength and flexibility of your foot in a way that might support your healing from your back pain. When I suggest self-massage to people, I like to start away from the source of the pain and think instead about function. So improving the flexibility and the strength of your foot is a great way to make you more adaptable to movement. Every time I step or change direction, me touching the ground is sending force through my body, and having a foot that can adapt to different forces coming through it will reduce the amount of strain or impact we take through the rest of the joints of our lower body or our hips and our back. So I've gone at it with a couple of different tools. First, let's talk about massaging the bottom of the foot in a way that would be invigorating. So this would be really useful before you went power walking or out for a run, or if you're at a lull in your day and just needed a little more energy. In that case, I'm going to do a non-specific kind of quick roll on the bottom of my foot. So if you imagine the foot just like from toe to heel length, I'm just going to keep pushing it toe to heel, toe to heel, toe to heel. And as I'm doing that motion, I'm working the ball along each ray of my foot. So you can imagine, say right now I'm on the big toe, then the index toe and the middle toe and the ring toe, down to the pinky toe. And so I'm covering lots of different areas. Okay, so that's like a clean swipe. And then I can do it a little more zigzaggy, but I still want to keep it in a controlled range. See, I'm not moving my leg too far. I can still keep my balance. I don't know if you can see, but my hand is on the wall. But it's more of a chaotic pattern. Okay, and then I would just repeat that with the other foot. And again, I'm not going to go through it, but straights and then all over the place. Okay, but it's light, non-specific, quick, and then my feet feel like warmed up and awake and ready for action. Now, I was just demonstrating that with a racquetball. You want to pick a ball that is hollow, so it has a little give if you want to give it pressure down and up. And then I'm also showing, there's a tennis ball, a regular tennis ball, but they make these slightly softer tennis balls for kids. So those are even better because you can see that it has a lot of gush. And then smaller, for a smaller foot, this is a ball for the game of squash. Okay. For more stimulation in your foot, if you are about to play sports and you need to send stuff, working with a spiky ball, so this is like a peanut, also hollow, but it has spikes, that might stimulate your sensory nerves even more if you do have to adapt to movement. Or if your feet are just really tough and not sensitive, this is like a log. So this is a black foam roller. It's pretty dense, but see how much area I can cover. Okay, and then I'm not so much going wiggly wiggly like I did before. If I'm on something that's long, I'm rotating, say I'm doing it for my leg and my hip and my pelvis, and I'm doing the inner foot, outer foot, just manipulating the angle of my ankle. I knew I was going to struggle with that. Yeah, just to work all the different parts of the foot. Okay? All right. So that's stimulating. But if I'm foam rolling with the attempt to make a more of a relaxation response, I'm going to change the speed and the way I'm giving pressure into the ball. On this one, it's even more important to work with a ball that has a little bit of give. And I'm still going to work with a racquetball, but say there are pink balls that are not hollow called pinky balls. That has some give, but you couldn't really squish it, and I want you to be able to really collapse the ball, partially or fully. And that's actually where we're going to begin. You're only going to push down to your tolerance, but I want you to give a little pressure down and up into the ball. I've set my feet in a staggered stance so I can really put my body weight over the front leg as I press it. And it's not real hard because I'm flat in the ball, but I'm pressing into the ball with every knuckle across the transverse pad of my foot. And now with even less pressure, I'm going to start to work the area of the arch. And I want you to still imagine you're working your way across it side to side, those little squeezes. But you might find this tissue to be a little more delicate. And then as you get towards the highest point of your arch, we start to have those joints much smaller, those like oddly shaped bones of your feet. So towards there, like right in front of your heel, keep steady pressure and just rock it back and forth. But see how I'm like nice and slow there, okay? And that way we're not exerting too much up force. It's more of a shearing glide. So We're careful with that sensitive area. And then once I'm on my heel, I'm back to like a one solid bone situation. So again, I can give that some presses up and down. But now think of that heel bone and how large it is. So you can squish it more towards the inside, more towards the center or the outside. And really that little hind part where it almost feels like you're coming up, the back of it. See if you can give that a little squish. That can be more exploratory. Also by now, like, your other leg might be a little tired. Okay, so I wiggle. Then when I go through those same like sweeping motions you saw me do on the other side, I'm gonna take my time, and as I roll the foot forward, I'm gonna give a slight downward pressure, an amount that I can sustain. And I'm just gonna let my foot melt into and over the ball as I just gradually shift my weight forward. Like, keep paying attention to my back leg too, just to see, like, I'm bending my knee, lifting my heel if I need to, throwing a little weight into the wall. There's a lot of manipulating that you might not sense unless you're aware of it, to help me keep the pressure on the ball. So I'm going to repeat that again, just having moved the foot over a little bit. Okay, so I'm loaded more on my back leg, I get the pressure, and then as I'm working my way down the length of it, I'm kind of giving in. My fingers that you can't see are sliding forward on the wall, leaning into it, almost in a lunge. It'll probably be different every time you do it. I'm just gonna do one more on that last, the more lateral side where my pinky toe, sorry to get a good start, pinky toe and ring toe are. And just changing this pace and going slower, it is actually, you're not calming down because it's slower. For some of you that actually might be very irritating. It's calming down your nervous system because of the way we're doing that shear. That pressure down and forward stimulates different sensory nerve endings that actually do evoke a calming response. Like I said, coming out of fight or flight into that rest and digest safe place. Where when I go fast, and I didn't talk a lot about the downward pressure, more the movement of the ball, the kind of flick of it. When I go fast, the nervous system is being told, not go into fight or flight, like freak the heck out, but fight or flight is in action time. Take an action step, right? And that's exactly what you want for sports, to be alert, to be responsive, so that you're ready to react to what your opponent's doing. Okay, so in both senses of taking yourself higher or lower, they're both positive. One will not be a stressful response. So again, I could choose to use the different balls. This also might be a great one to explore the smaller ball. You may not you may not get through one clean swipe for the whole length of your foot when it's small, but like you get through like an amount of weight shift. I'm speeding up myself a little just to save you time. And then reset it towards the middle of the foot and then push away a little. And that way I could be more specific and like kind of nook and cranny into it. The squash balls do have a lot of squash to them, so they can actually, if you're having trouble feeling that you're smushing it, you'll have great success with this. And then you can also kind of take it under your toes a little better, which these larger balls can't do. Now when I'm trying to calm down, I avoid the spiky balls, I avoid the very hard roller I showed you before, because there isn't really a sense of melt. Your body's more likely, if you try to do that slow motion, it's going to register a pain response and kind of want to pull back off of that. So save that just for the stimulation. But then back to these softer balls. So I, again, showed you that melting stretch. This one also, doing that slightly more, I'm going to keep saying chaotic type of movement under your foot, really light pressure and able to get like every corner. I want you to feel the contours of your foot. And you don't have to know anything about your anatomy at all to feel what your foot has, right? It's flat foot, high arch, doesn't really matter. You're just sensing the environment. Okay, so that too, I'm naturally taking a slower movement here. I have no exact protocol for how slow that should be, but at a pace that lets me observe. That I could be like reporting back to someone. I feel soft, I must have hit a bone, it feels hard, like speed it, you could sense that stuff. Okay. So if you were just trying to figure out where to fit this in, if you don't have an exact activity to attach it to, when you wake up in the morning and you're getting going for the day, we could pick that invigorating one. At night, if you want to help become restful to sleep, pick the softer one. And if you are doing it specifically to help with an episode of pain right now, I would try those softer ones first. All right, good luck.